to Let's Play Bloodborne, but this is another dungeon crawling casting episode. Today we're going to be doing the Central Pthumeru Chalice. And we have quite a few topics to cover. Hopefully I'll get to them all, because there's quite a few. First up, it's all going to be encompassing the Nintendo Direct that dropped on Wednesday of this week, February 17th, 2021. First Nintendo Direct in around, I want to say, over 500 days, apparently, was the count people were saying, which is quite a bit. Now, there were a lot of games in that thing, so I'm just gonna go over the topics that I found interesting, the games, DLC, etc. And first and foremost, what kicked off the show was Pyra and Mithra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, are the next DLC fighter for Smash Bros. Ultimate. And I think they are pretty neat. I like the whole transformation gimmick, the sheep thing. Oop, looks pretty fun. I have not played Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I did, however, buy the Golden Country DLC cartridge. I still have yet to buy the second game. Oop. But I liked what I played of that, since it's technically a prequel, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I've been buying all those Xenoblade games, haven't finished one of them quite yet, unfortunately. But I definitely like what they're doing. Kinda hoping Xenoblade Chronicles X gets a Switch port one of these days, because I started that one for sunk a few hours into it and thought it was pretty cool. Didn't get into any of the mecha, unfortunately, but I liked it. Alright, next up, also Smash Ultimate, great game. Another thing I need to play more of. Only played a few hours personally. That story mode spirit board thing is pretty fun. I do not have a main. I have not played long enough for that, unfortunately. Okay, next up on the list is Samurai Warriors 5, shown off for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. This is the first we've seen footage of it since it was announced a while ago. It looks pretty, it's switched over to a sort of anime and sumi-e art style, kind of mixed with a little dash of classic pseudo-realism that the series is known for. Samurai Warriors is basically just Dynasty Warriors, but instead of being Romance of the Three Kingdoms, it's based on pseudo versions of Japanese history. No giant enemy crabs, at least as far as I'm aware. I actually have the 4th game on PS4. It came with the special Blu-ray disc of an anime version. Did not play very much of it, but I bought it mostly because I really enjoyed Hyrule Warriors on Wii U. I played a hell of a lot of that, and its DLC. Whole reason I even give Musou games a second glance anymore. I mean, these days. It's the, they recently came out. Well, actually, it's been like God, probably 3-4 years at this point. But Dynasty Warriors 9 came out, and they experimented with an open world format. And oh, I already looped back. They had an open world China, and you could go out, take out enemy encampments, and instead of being mission based like all the other games, it was more obviously open world. I didn't play that one, especially because reviews for when it came out were pretty rough. Game, just like its frame rate. Hey. But I've heard that they've done tons of updates to it and made it almost a completely, significantly better game. Notably, they've added things like multiplayer split-screen co-op, which is nuts to think about, considering that it's an open world game. I'm not sure what the restrictions on it are. But if it's anything like Hyrule Warriors on Wii U, I'm sure the resolution cuts down pretty far to compensate. It's one I've wanted to check out too, because especially after they spent a whole year just updating and fixing it and responding to feedback. So that's pretty cool, and it's kind of what I'm. At least at this point, Samurai Warriors 5 looks to be returning to more traditional mission structure. And I was hoping, since it would be their second outing with that, the Samurai Warriors would be able to take what they learned from Dynasty Warriors 9, have a smaller, denser map, since it'd be set in Japan rather than China, and go on ahead and just take all that feedback and make a better version of what they originally set out to do. Oh. Beast possessed soul. Been a minute since we've seen you. But looks like they're going back to a more traditional route, which I guess makes sense if you're going to be doing working with the lower spec hardware as your base, being the Switch. That was easy. But yeah, I really like the visuals on this, and I'm still keen to at least try it out. Moving on from that, we have The Legend of Mana Remastered for Switch, PS4, and PC. Another one of those things I'm hoping gets a physical version, even if it's a short run of it, like their Secret of Mana remake that they did. It came out, I want to say, 2017. I booted that up and played it a little bit. It's pretty neat. I mean, I think nostalgia is going to cloud a fair bit of it compared to the Super Nintendo version, which thankfully also came out last year on Switch in a nice bundled collection. Bought that right away. But Legend of Mana is kind of different from the rest of the entries in the series. It's still an action RPG, but it doesn't have a linear story. Instead, it's like the world is a storybook, and you're placing the pages into it, and just sort of filling it out as you go. And one of the nice benefits of its non-linear, though also its detriment, is that there's sort of a special path that you can take that allows you to unlock optional events and more character interactions, things like that. Oh, God damn it. And it's always had this really nice art style, and they've gone ahead and used an AI upscaler to completely redo the backgrounds in this new release. I assume it's probably going to go up to 4K, at least on the higher end consoles. And PC. Come on. And I'm looking forward to playing that. It has not been re-released since its original version on the PlayStation 1. And all the way back in 97, I believe the trailer said. It's kind of old. Well, okay, that's not entirely true. It did come out on PlayStation Network as a regular ROM PlayStation Classic. So, technically that counts as a release? This is the first true ports, I should say. Versus PlayStation 1 classics on PSN for Vita, PSP, PS3. In that those are just the ROMs off the disc and whatnot, unaltered. But this new Legend of Mana remaster will have a completely reorchestrated score. On top of that, it'll also let you change back to the original music should you desire it. I'm always down for more mana. Oh yeah, also last year the Trials of Mana remake also came out. That was pretty cool, pretty nice. I got the PS4 version, it's also on Switch and PC. It's a remake of one of the games in that large collection. Which was, until that collection and that remake, was never localized outside Japan. It's a great series, and I'm glad to see Square Enix is really paying attention to it once again. Curious how far they're gonna go. Are they gonna make brand new ones? Or are they going to still remaster the ones that are a little less loved, like Dawn of Mana from PS2. Kinda hope they do. Just might as well get the whole collection there. Oh, jeez. They're just all piling through, aren't they? Oh well. Come on down. Yep. Ah, great. Back up we go. Well, since I'm repeating a little bit, the enemy that fell down on me here, the blob tar thing, filled with human remains and who knows what else, is like, this is kind of your generic slime enemy that you'd see in a whole ton of other RPGs and video games. They're called gels here. And these weirdo things, sadly it's clipping through the floor so we can't see it, but it's called a tomb scorpion. They've got like a weird little human face on them. And I have a Halloween decoration that kinda does too. back on Mana, no relation to my username, surprisingly, is I'm hopeful that after they do all this remake work and remaster work, they maybe do a new title. Though, of course, easy enough to argue that the remake of Trials of Mana is, in its own way, a new one, but it's 50-50. Because it is a remake, and it is essentially the same game, but rather than being 2D sprite based, it's 3D, so that changes a bit the combat dynamic and how you approach things. Yep, gonna need that, I think. Next up on the list, Project Triangle Strategy. The next game by the developers at Square who made the Octopath Traveler. Okay, here's these things. Let's take a good look at them. Yeah. Tomb scorpions. It's like they're mammals, almost, that became scorpions. It's very weird. And as you've seen before, when they die, they kind of explode a little bit, and they turn in. They released a fast poison. I never really went and explained the difference between fast and slow poison in this game. Back when it first came out, I thought it was just basically being just like Dark Souls, in that you have fast poison. I mean, you have poison and toxin. Poison is just the slow ticking down of your health, while toxin is basically very, very fast ticking down, and you better find a bonfire or hope that you have a healing item for it quick, or consider yourself dead. And quick. However, it works different here in Bloodborne. It actually works closer to Frenzy, in that if the bar builds all the way up, you lose around 30% of your life, which is less than than Frenzy, which is 70%. So once I realized that, I kind of had to look back at my old thoughts of like, do they really have to rename this? Are you really trying to push yourself so far away from your previous work? It's like you don't need to act like you're legally distinct. We know what these games are, and we know who's making them. But no, it actually functions differently. Okay, back to Triangle Strategy. Sorry, I completely went off tangent there. But it's the new like Final Fantasy Tactics-esque game by those who did Octopath Traveler. It's really not for me. I don't play a lot of the strategy games. I play some Fire Emblem, maybe a little, God, trying to remember the name. Banner Saga, here and there, but I mostly prefer real-time strategy. Like, say, Impossible Creatures or Alien vs. Predator Extinction on PS2. I know that's a really niche list to draw from in that particular regard. I mean, I don't think anyone listening to this knows what those two games are. So I guess closer to Halo Wars is a more modern example. Oh, fire paper, great. That will be completely useless against the upcoming boss. I really like the visuals associated with it. What Octopath Traveler now Project Triangle Strategy, which sounds even more stupid than Project Octopath, is they call it 2D HD. It's a sort of a 2D 3D hybrid mix in a very particular art style. And this looks cool. This looks cool visually. I have no complaints with that. It's just that also they released a demo with it. Maybe I'll check it out. I'm not entirely sure at the moment. Because like I said, turn-based strategy is not really my thing. But I'm hoping their next game that they go ahead and do is an action RPG, since they've covered the other bases. Because action RPGs are my jam. Playing one right now. Let's see. Away we go. This next boss we're coming up on, I had so much trouble with back when this game first came out, but hopefully I'll go a little smoother this one. Keeper of the Old Lords. This one's a lot like the Watchdog of the Old Lords, but probably definitely much more intelligent and higher ranked. This is a very powerful tomb sorceress. I assume it's a female, even though I don't really think it has any vocals when you... I assume female, mostly because of the... Oh, don't get sloppy. The large hat it has is very reminiscent of Yuria from Demon Souls. And they do a lot of fire damage, obviously. Nope. A lot. Oh, there's a little grunt there. Root Chalice and a Damp Blood Gem. Gonna go back real quick and restock, but we'll do that on the next floor. And probably just spend these echoes. That bonus room right there, definitely hitting that. Back to a dream.
welcome. What is
Gems.
very well?
Echoes.
Farewell, good mate.
And let's go look at the outfit we can buy based on that keeper. Bone ash mask. Ugh. A mask made of bone ash, worn by the oldest keepers. The keepers who mined the slumbering great ones gained eternal life, preserved in ashen form in a ceremony of flame that cremated body and soul. The long, pointed hat is a symbol of the old keepers, considered evidence of their companionship forged in a certain sin. Let's see. Now their frail armor is white and sinewy, a window into an arcane lost art. And that's really all the difference in the descriptions for their gear. Oh. Don't mind spending some insight now, especially with the what's to come. Let's put that gear on. It looks really cool. Unfortunately, it doesn't have all the red glowy ember effects that the boss version had. Notice the skull with like 8 eyes on it, or 8 eye sockets rather. Very neat looking. Back to a tomb. Next on the list is Princess Charm, who's this delightful little sprite character that they had during the Nintendo Direct presentation. She well, actually is not a character for her own video game. She was kind of part of the just like this overall sort of window dressing they put on for this new competitive game called Knockout City, which is basically dodgeball PvP. I think free-to-play game published by EA. I wasn't terribly enraptured by the game itself, but Princess Charm, the little character they had, she was pretty fun. She had a foul mouth and she was really short, playing the Switch like it's a big old laptop on her. And then all the rest of the characters that they had playing the game, like sort of a meta thing, was like a World of Warcraft orc. Like, wholesale, I thought it was a character from that while watching. And then, like a football player, a generic soldier character, stuff like that. Yeah, wasn't really interested in Knockout City itself, though I can appreciate the concept. Something different. Okay, yes, there is a door back there. I mean, and also to be fair, like I said, the concept and everything, and visual, and somewhat visually, it looks interesting. I just can't ever see myself downloading and playing that. I just am not one for player versus player. That was a wandering phantom or something, I think that was called. It's kind of like the Pilgrim, only bigger, more powerful, and more aggressive. She didn't last long though. I prefer either co-op or solo. I just can't get into the competitiveness of most PvP stuff. I mean, hell, this game has PvP, and I've spent, like, absolutely no time with it. I avoid it in all these Souls games and Souls-likes as much as possible. Though, the only real PvP I ever spent time with and enjoyed was the old Assassin's Creed games from Brotherhood onwards. I had a lot of fun, mostly because trophies were attached to it and I really wanted the platinum. But eventually I got way into it, and I was having builds where my character would morph crowds around me, and then I'd have another special ability that turns one of those clones into something that runs and triggers people's radars. Because the whole point of the old PvP and the Assassin's Creed games was you're in a big simulation, the Animus, and you're hunting other players and each other. You have a target and someone is targeting you, and it was kept so that only you could kill your target, but your target could not kill you. And your idea is to just make your way around stealthy as possible, find them, and eliminate them stealthy as possible. Because you don't want to draw attention to yourself and tip off your killer that's after you. Oh goody mold. So my build was mostly one of my perks was as soon as as soon as I walk into a crowd of 4 or more NPCs, they transform around me and become copies. And one of my special abilities I have equipped is that you can turn someone into a clone near you and have an NPC into a clone, and then they go off running. Well, paranoid, I don't remember where the ball went. Did I fully explore this? I feel like I'm missing something. Nah. Press forward. Can't be anything important. Okay, yeah, I'm going backwards. My apologies. And there's also another one I had just for farming experience points, because how stealthily you took out your opponents, your targets would factor in how much experience points you got, and that helped you level up quicker or slower depending on how stealthy you were. And one popular combination of abilities was to drop a smoke bomb and then poison your target. and you get this stacking experience from doing both of those things, of killing someone in a smoke bomb, and then as well as using poison. You could level up pretty quickly if you were, if you knew how to use that. Now, when it came to being a target, that you couldn't kill the person targeting you. What would happen is that if they got close enough and you were able to react fast enough, you could hit the circle button for a melee attack and stun them. And what that would do is it would it'd stun them for a few seconds, they'd be open and vulnerable, and then the game would have to automatically randomly assign them a new target because they failed to get you, so they need to go be given someone else to go after. Alright, Bell Lady, where are you? There she is. Alright, I have gone way off topic enough. Next on the agenda is Hades' physical release. I've wanted to play that game for quite some time. It came out on the Epic Game Store back in 2017 in early access on PC. And I really like Supergiant. They do a lot of neat games. Pyre, Transistor, Bastion. Pyre, in particular, is really neat. It's like Oregon Trail combined with NBA Jam in a fantasy setting. It's a really weird combination, but they managed to make it work. But for those unaware, Hades is a roguelite, in which you play as Zagreus, son of Hades himself, and you're trying to escape the underworld because there's a rule that no one can leave, and that includes you. And so you die, you get sent back to the beginning. You keep running and running through it, the ever-changing labyrinth that is the underworld, and try to find your way out so you can see the surface world. And I always I always think that's a pretty fun concept too, especially since it's a Greek mythology, and I'm a big fan of that. The reason I like the God of War games back in the day was the first thing that drew me to them. Then you have Supergiant's fantastic art style, which is pretty unique to them. You can see is kind of unifying all their games, even if they are not taking place in any shared universe or anything like that. Okay, and this was that locked door. Yep. And we've completed the circuit. I've been waiting for a PC release that was DRM free, such as itch.io or GOG or something like that. But I'll take a Switch physical copy because that's the next best thing. Next topics on the agenda are the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection. Looks great. I have never finished a Ninja Gaiden game. I rented 2 on PS3 back in the day, a long time ago. Oh, texture glitch. And I only got like through the third or third level or something. I remember I was on some sort of a Zeppelin after I fought some guys on motorcycles. It was difficult, but now that I'm older and actually I understand game mechanics a fair bit better, I'm looking forward to that. At least giving it another go. And it's kind of unfortunate that Sigma Ninja Gaiden 2, it was infamous a long time ago for the original version that launched, that there was a boss that you had to fight that was a giant fiery lava armadillo. And when you killed it, it would transition to a cutscene, but before that you have to be holding block because it's going to explode, and it pretty much instantly kills you if you did not. And there's no warning of that or no indication that you need to do that. So you have to go through that boss fight again because you weren't holding block after it died. And I would have loved to see today's social media reaction to that. Just imagining Twitter just lighting up with, "This stupid armadillo killed me after it died," kind of thing. I have no idea what the hell the hashtag would be for that. After that, the Age of Calamity Breath of the Wild Zelda expansion pass, definitely gonna get that. Age of Calamity is pretty cool, though. I'm kind of don't really want to play it more of it until an upgraded Switch comes out, because performance is a little bit rough. Can use a little ironing out. So not much to say on that. After that, Skyward Sword HD. Cool, never got around to playing that one. Heard some mixed things when it came out. A lot of them seem like odd design decisions. But hopefully getting to try it will... I'll do a... Oh, I keep hitting X to dodge for some reason. It's still also does highlight again Nintendo's kind of ridiculous pricing structure. It is now $10 more than the Wii version when it came out. Oh. For some very marginal improvements. Though the no longer being forced to use motion controls is going to be a nice plus. And it's using analog stick for slashing the sword, which is a control technique I super appreciate. Ever since Monster Hunter on the PS2, they don't do that anymore. Mostly because weapon movesets are too numerous and too complex these days, and you need all the buttons. So yeah, looking forward to that, not looking forward to paying full $60. The only full price remake that's come out lately that has been worth its full cost is Demon Souls by Sony and Bluepoint Games. And they put a lot of work into that, and it shows in both polish, quality, and everything. And it's not a simple increase of the texture resolution. Everything is brand new. It's the only one I will defend right now at full price, because it's pretty much the only one other than anything by Nintendo that is full price. Alright, fancy finish. That was a Pthumerian descendant. They are... It's not clear if they're from inbreeding or from breeding outside their race of where they are now. Because that is a descendant of the race that
Welcome.
helped
What is
build those tombs that
very
we've
well.
been
Let me.
exploring. Nope, do not have anywhere near enough.
Farewell, good mate.
And they obviously they are not quite happy to see us down there. Really cool moveset. A little surprised that its weapon is not a trick weapon, because since it does have a transformation, it's a shuttle that becomes a twin shuttle, though I guess it'd be kind of like the Blades of Mercy a little bit too much, but another weapon wouldn't have hurt. And last, and simply not least, Splatoon 3, God, was announced. And with that, it was a really neat little trailer. I liked the start was a little ambiguous. I was wondering if it was like some sort of RPG that they were leaning into. And another thing that's kind of lighting the internet up, and mostly a good way, thankfully, is that instead of gender, they ask for which type what you want to be, your body type, what you identify as, which is pretty nice, very very inclusive. And to bring it back to Demon Souls, they do that with the remake. So instead of male and female, it's just type A or type B, and then you could put either male or female voice on it, or however you identify with as, which is really nice, and I appreciate that. And even as a mixed race, straight male, I appreciate the inclusivity in that in games and stuff like that. And I mean, regardless of what a lot of the internet might tell you, gaming should be a more welcome place than it unfortunately is in some bad circles, but we're not going to dive too much into that. But again, I love the look of Splatoon. I love all the characters. I love watching it. It's PvP, so again, it's not for me to actually play. It's just not quite up my alley in that regard, but I love everything else about it. It's got such style. I love again, character designs are great. All the various sea creatures that the characters are based off of, the bright neon colors, and then the pseudo Kamurocho and Shibuya based hubs are really neat. And then of course the giant the Eiffel Tower that's upside down, that's being memed into Callie Marie flipped it upside down, because there's an old Nintendo of Europe tweet with the image of them in front of it. And yeah, I'm gonna really enjoy seeing where that goes. I mean, I also like the little weapon they had in there that was like a turret that got deployed, and it's a little crab that walks sideways and has like a gun for a mouth, it appears. And that's really neat. I again, fantastic visual design of that series. The gameplay just isn't for me. And with that long list of news topics, I thank you all for joining me again, and I will see you later. Bye.